Hey everybody, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. We're going to get hands-on with AI and we're going to build a smart feature into a Drupal site with zero code. For this presentation, most of our slides are decorative, but if they are not, we'll describe what's on the screen. Intros. My name is Bree. I'm with amazee.ai. I'm a product experience manager and a former developer who now focuses on making complex systems feel more human. I've built apps, I've led teams of devs, and now I spend my time reducing friction, connecting people, and creating tools that support humans, not the other way around. I also serve on the DrupalCon North America Steering Committee, where I lead speaker review as a way of giving back to a community that gave me my career. And at the core, I care about creating tech that's intuitive, supportive, and inclusive of all the different ways people work and think.
And I'm Matthew Saunders. I'm a digital strategy leader, AI advocate, neurodiversity champion with deep experience in accessibility, inclusive design, and enterprise transformation. I've led AI-powered innovation at Pfizer, where I helped scale global platforms and streamline digital operations. Today, I work with amazee.ai as well as an AI ambassador, and I contribute to the track team for the DrupalAI strategic initiative, where I'm helping shape the future of open source AI integration. I also serve on the board of Drupal Colorado, the nonprofit that puts this camp on every year, and regularly speak on topics like AI ethics, digital inclusion, and neurodiversity in tech. At the heart of my work is a simple goal: to use technology, especially AI, to build more accessible, equitable, and human-centered digital experiences for everyone.
Cool. Here's our agenda for today. We did welcome and intros. Next, we're going to do a little bit of setup. So if you want to follow along, pull out your laptops now. It's going to be easy to follow along. You'll have something tangible to take home with you. And then we're going to cover some AI concepts. We'll do a live demo together and build a smart feature. Then we're going to have some brainstorming together and finish with some wrap-up and Q&A. So to kick it off, first, we're going to kick off the creation of our demo environments. I'm going to go actually into Drupal Slack in the Drupal Colorado channel, and I'm going to pop some links. I guess I could actually.
And this is in Drupal Slack, not Drupal Colorado Slack.
Yeah, this is here. So I just posted a message. Those first three links, your AI playground, and then the two prompts, and then that complicated and boring demo article. Those are what you're going to want to open up to follow along. So I am going to, I've already got them primed because like a cooking show, I've got ingredients prepped and things already baking. But if you go to that first link, which is amazee.ai/Drupal-AI, there is a form where we can kick off a demo environment totally for free. That's just going to enable us to get up and running super fast. So I'm going to come over here to this form, fill it out real quick. If I can. This is the hardest part of presenting, is the alternate screen thing. So I enter my name, my email. I can pick a data region. This is part of the offerings, so you can pick geographically where you want it to live. I'm just going to pick the US. Then I can pick an experience. I'm going to pick Advanced Drupal Skills Edition, because that just gives me lots of choices.
And you should pick Advanced Drupal Skills as well. Don't do one of the others, because we won't have the right setup for what we're going to do.
Do this one for this demo. If you want to go create like a bunch of other demos and try out the other experiences, please do. But for this one, we're going to do Advanced Drupal Skills. I agree to the terms. I swear I'm not a robot. I have pins to verify it, and I'm going to sign up. And that is just going to bake in the background for a couple minutes while we cover some AI concepts, and then we'll come back to it and open it up.
Okay, so let's take a brief dive into some concepts that are key to understanding the cogs that make many AI systems work. The first is large language models. Large language models are advanced AI systems trained on massive data sets of text to understand, generate, and manipulate human language. You could sort of think of them as autocomplete on steroids. And then we've got RAG databases. RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. RAG is a technique that combines a vector-based retrieval system with an LLM. The idea is to pull in relevant external information at query time and feed it to the LLM so it answers based up on up-to-date or domain-specific data. How it works is, in the retrieve portion, it pulls documents or data chunks from a vector database using similarity search or vectors, and I'll talk a little bit about what those are a little bit later in the presentation. augment, what it does is it attaches this retrieved content to the user's prompt, and then it feeds the whole thing into an LLM to generate a response. So a vector database stores vector embeddings, and what embeddings are is a mathematical representation of data, like text or images, in what's called high-dimensional space. These embeddings make it possible to perform similarity searches based on meaning, not exact keywords. High-dimensional space refers to many more dimensions than we normally understand. So, if you're thinking about 1D, it's a line. 2D would be a flat surface like a sheet of paper. 3D is like the world around you with length, width, and height. High dimension can have hundreds or thousands of dimensions. So you might have 384 or 1,536 dimensions. So while we can't visualize these high dimensional spaces, computers deal with them just fine. So for example, you might have the sentence, "the dog barked," and that vector might look like 0.12 minus 0.98, 1.34, then zillions more, and then end off with something like 0.05, let's say with 760 values. And then you might have a sentence, "a canine made noise," which is very similar. It might just be one little tiny bit of number off of each of the numbers in that vector. So it allows you to note similarity within concepts. So how does all this work? Well, when you've got an input like a paragraph, it's converted into an embedding, a vector. It's stored in the database, and at query time, the user input is also converted to that vector, and we compare them using what's called distance metrics from the stored vectors, and it looks for similarity. So queen, princess, and prince would be close in distance, whereas banana wouldn't be. As an aside, the word embeddings, and I looked this up because I was curious, because it seemed awfully random to me, but it comes from mathematics and manifold learning. So in math, an embedding is a way of mapping one space into another, and it's a way to engage with a simpler space that way while preserving structure. So practically speaking, how does this fit into a system? I've put together a very, very simple chart here. Step 0 is to load the raw data into the vector database. You use an embedding generator to create the vector embeddings. And there are several available commercially and open source. Very common ones are OpenAI models, which are commercial, and Hugging Face transformers, which are open source. After you've transformed your data into embeddings, the next step is step 1, and that's the user input. So let's say a question. And that question uses the exact same embedding model that was used to embed your documents to begin with. Then step 3 is to search the vector database using that query embedding, and then retrieve relevant chunks as step 4 from the vector database. Then the retrieved content, the original user's question, are bundled together, sent to the LLM, and the LLM generates a response. If you skip the embedding and retrieval system, an LLM will almost certainly hallucinate because it will only be working with its own training. RAG works because it grounds the LLM with retrieved and relevant context. This chart here describes the infrastructure set up behind amazee.ai AI provider. You'll see that there are 3 stacked tiers. One called AI applications. In this case, it's DrupalAI. The one below shows the Kubernetes layer with the LLM proxy, the VectorDB proxy, and the Amazee IO UI and API. And the bottom has infrastructure, which includes the LLMs and the service layers. So up top with the various Drupal is where the various Drupal AI modules are, including the Amazee AI provider module. And when the module is installed, it uses both the OpenAI API standard and the Postgres API standard. And there are several things that can happen when you install a module. There are several things that happen when you install the module and configure it with your email address and desired region. Your services are provisioned in the region you request during setup, and an API is created to access those services. The proxies speak to the LLMs in your vector database. Both the LLMs and the GPU are made available as a service. And it is literally a simple 2-minute process to put the AI provider module into your Drupal site. But what you can see is that there's a ton of infrastructure and code going on in the background, even though we've managed to sort of crunch this for our users down to such a tight little thing. We have similar offerings outside of Drupal, like bespoke solutions. We've got a private chat assistant right now that's in beta with some beta testers, and we'll also, if you want, provide you with an abstracted access to the API endpoint. So if you want to do something directly with the API, you can as well.
Cool. So what can AI do in Drupal? Well, it can do a lot of stuff, actually. We're pretty far ahead, to be honest. It can help you with content, with generating, with categorizing or translating your content, helping you to adjust the tone or style of your content, help you to check your content against specific compliance guidelines. If your organization has really specific guidelines about your content, you can run it through them using AI. Obviously, image alt text generation, we've talked about that and its problems. You can use AI to offer relevant content suggestions to users. You can leverage it to create an automator-driven prompt workflow. We're actually going to see that in our demo today. You can leverage CK Editor's AI assistant to write, rephrase, explain, and translate and summarize the content all within the editor. You can use manual or triggered actions, manual actions being clicking on a button and kicking off an event, triggered actions being something that happens automatically based on the state of the system. And then, of course, conversational AI. So, for example, for writing chatbots to assist and support your users. All this stuff is stuff you can do already with Drupal and AI.
So let's talk about where current AI capabilities in Drupal stand, especially when compared to other CMS platforms. While many CMSs are offering basic AI integrations like content suggestions or image tagging, Drupal's architecture allows for deep, customizable AI workflows that can go far beyond that. This is a key differentiator, and it's the community's focus on no and low-code implementation. So we're not just building for developers, we're empowering site builders, marketers, and content teams to leverage AI without having to write any code. And all of this is fully integrated within Drupal. You don't need to stitch together third-party tools or duct tape APIs. It's all natively accessible through modules and provider frameworks built for the Drupal ecosystem. And the cool thing about this is that no other open source platform lets you build end-to-end AI-powered experiences this fast. With Drupal AI, you can go from idea to functional prototype in a matter of hours or days, not weeks or months. And that's something that other platforms simply can't match.
Ooh, the fun part.
All right,
so
demo.
I'm actually going to tilt the laptop. I don't want to bust up your glasses or disconnect us.
Oh, I see why.
Yeah, okay. So we have a cake baking in the oven, right? If I can find my cursor. You should, on that form, at this point, see a success message. Congratulations, you're in. Let's click on this URL, and that's going to open up a Drupal site ready and waiting with us already logged in, and we can start building something. Cool. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Extend. Now, most of the modules that we need are already installed, but we need to turn on one more. So you can see that we've got AI Core, we've got the amazee.ai provider, Light LLM, the OpenAI provider, and some other stuff. We're going to turn on AI automators. So just give that a quick click, install, bada bing, bada boom. As long as the internet gods cooperate with us, we will be in business.
Live demos.
Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Any day now. You did it! Yay! Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a content type. So let's go to Structure, Content Types.
Company username. AI agent to do that for you?
You certainly could.
You could.
Then you wouldn't be doing it, right?
But we're doing this together, okay? All right, so we're going to give it a name. Really groundbreaking here. We're going to call it article. And then we're going to save and manage our fields.
And it's important to actually use the words that Bree is using, because when we get to the prompts, they're specific to like the name of the content type and the names of different fields. So copy what she's doing.
Yeah, so we're going to create 3 fields. We're going to create a body field, then we're going to create a simplified title and simplified body field, because what we're going to end up doing is putting a really complex article in, and then we're going to use AI to turn it into a really simple article. So let's create a new field. Formatted text. Continue. This one's our body. Whoops, body. Text formatted long. Continue. All right. So for our body, all we need to do is enable content as the allowed text format and hit save. This one's really simple. Next, simplified title. So that's also formatted text. I can't see what I'm doing. Need my spell check, Matthew.
So far, so
Yeah,
good.
good, okay. Text formatted long. Oh, it actually just needs to be text formatted.
You can just use text formatted there.
Yeah. I've just got a bias for the long text, you know. All right, and then we're going to come down here. We're going to say allowed text formats content. Then we're going to enable the AI automator, and we're going to turn on some configurations here. So under automator type, we want to choose text. Choose text. Under automator settings, we've got base mode, automator input mode, base mode, yeah. The advanced mode lets us put tokens in. For the base field, we want to use title, because what we want to do is take from the title to put into simplified title. And then we want to enter our prompt here. And that's one of the links I had you all open up. So it's this simplified title prompt. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste that in here. Then I'm going to go to advanced settings, direct, and then for AI provider, I want amazee.ai. And for my chat model, I have choices. I'm going to choose Claude 3.5 Sonnet because I like him. And for temperature, I'm actually going to set temperature to 0 because this controls how creative it can get. And for this, we want it to not be super creative. We don't want it to hallucinate on us. We want it to be pretty focused on the task.
And sometimes people ask, why would you want to have a high temperature and have one of these models be really kooky? And the way I like to explain it is that, you know, if you're in a highly regulated industry, you may want to keep your temperature super low. But let's say that you're creating a site where you want children to be able to put in some text into a field about a story that they want to write. You probably want the model to be pretty creative about how it takes that language and transforms that language. So there are reasons why you might want to have have it a bit higher, a bit hotter.
And then the last thing we're going to do here is say user text format content. I think I got all the fields. Save settings. And then one more field. Again, formatted text. This is going to be simplified body. Text formatted long. Continue. And this one's going to be much like the previous one. Content text format. Enable the AI automator. The AI automator type is LLM text. Automator base field this time is body. And then under advanced settings, amazee.ai provider. Again, I want Claude 3.5 Sonnet as my chat model. Again, I don't want him to hallucinate today. Another day, Sunday, that's when we'll hallucinate together. And then text format will be content.
Oh, you don't want to hit that quite yet.
Oh, what did I do? Did I forget?
We need to.
Oh, you're right. I forgot to put the prompt in. I was on a roll. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. But first, Matthew, do you want to talk to us about how you might write a prompt?
Yeah, sure. So when we're looking at the prompt, when you look at the prompt that is in the second gist, there are 6 sort of areas that are important. The first section is what I call instructional intent. So it says rewrite main body content between context delimiters for general audience at a 6th grade reading level. Preserve all key ideas in logical flow, but simplify vocabulary and sentence structure. Ignore the field called title. And what this does is it defines the task clearly and concisely to begin with. It sets a clear reading level for accessibility. It narrows the AI's focus by ignoring unrelated fields. That's actually really important. And it encourages consistent output and reduces ambiguity. So all of this keeps the model's attention where it belongs. The second section is field-specific instructions. And in this case, we've got only one, but you'll notice that in the gist, I do number it, because if I'm going to do multiple field-specific instructions, I want it to understand that they're different. So rewrite the body in 8 to 10 paragraphs using simple language. Save this to the field simplified text body. That's the reason why we wanted you to follow the exact words that Bree was putting in there. What this does is, if we had multiple, it breaks the task into subtasks. It sets clear length and field mapping expectations. It ensures the output is aligned with Drupal field structure, and it follows a declarative instruction design for the AI to have clarity. Then there's a third section, formatting constraints. And in this section, I have for the body, you may only use these HTML tags, H3, M, and strong. And for the summary, if we had a summary, don't use any HTML. What this does is it restricts the formatting for front-end safety. It prevents overly complex or invalid HTML and ensures the AI outputs content that renders properly in Drupal. Then the fourth section is structured output format. So I'm telling it that I want it to output only a valid JSON array structured with this structure here. And what this does is it enforces precise format expected by the automator and encourages valid structured output. It prevents parsing errors and post-processing headaches. And then the fifth section is used for suppression of noise. So Claude likes being really helpful. And Claude will often say, hey, look, I did what you told me to do. Here are all the things that I did. Aren't I good? It's like it's begging for validation, right? So what I generally do is I'll put a little section in my prompt, which is for the suppression of that noise. So in this case, it says, do not include any explanations, markdown, or extra commentary. And what this does is it removes those extraneous models like what I was talking about, model responses like, here's your output, keeps that output clean and machine readable. Then the last section is the context definition. And in this case, the 2 curly brackets with context is telling the model that token is for the body of the content itself. So it's telling it this is the only section that I want you to be looking at. This defines input boundaries, helps the model focus only on the content to be simplified, prevents confusion or unintended field usage, and makes the prompt reusable for other automator use cases if you're planning on doing any kind of linking of automators through a maybe more complex system.
So Matthew, what was the process of writing these prompts like? You got it right on the first try, perfect, right?
No. So what I like doing is writing what I think the prompt ought to do, and then I'll actually run it through Claude itself, saying, "Hey, Claude, you know how to prompt yourself, right?" And Claude will spit out a pretty good prompt based on what my initial parameters are, and I might have to actually tweak it for a little bit after that. Probably when I wrote that prompt, it probably took, well, originally that prompt was both the title and the body prompt, and I ended up breaking it up because Claude was getting confused. So it's a process. It's an iterative process where you just keep testing until you get the response that you're looking for.
So as you're working through that, you are iterating to make a prompt that you think is reliable.
Yep.
But AI is changing month over month. How does your prompt remain reliable?
So you may have to test it. You may have to test it, and you can do, you can write automated tests that can help with that kind of thing, for sure.
Isn't that AI just training you?
That may be the case.
I, for one, welcome on your robot overlord.
I always say thank you to Siri.
I'm on the nail with my P's and Q's with AI, just in case. You never know. All right, so we saved that. So now we've got our content type. Let's make a piece of content. So we're going to go to create article, and now I'm going to go grab my scintillating article on the economics of tariffs, which I definitely want to read in my spare time. I'm going to pull it up on the plane home. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to grab the title.
So this is a graduate student's document that I got permission to use. So it's at a master's level, and what we're going to try to do here, fingers crossed, if all of this works, is turn this master's level essay into a sixth grade reader's comprehension level without changing the meaning of the core meaning of the actual text.
Right, we've got our original title and body. We've got a blank simplified title and simplified body that AI is going to populate for us if everything goes well. Is that wood?
Yeah. Maybe it's MDF.
Knock on laminate. Seems appropriate for AI. And we wait. Woohoo! Okay. So this is our original title and our original body, which goes on, and eventually concludes. And then we have our simplified title, which becomes tariffs, good or bad for the economy, and our simplified body, which is a lot more succinct and easily readable. Yours didn't work?
I may have missed some stuff.
It's possible.
The line spacing is different, isn't it? As it would be in a simplified environment? Or is it just shorter paragraphs?
I think it's shorter paragraphs. Yeah.
It looked to me like it did also simplify the typography. That would be something.
That would be cool.
I bet you could make it do that. But yeah, for something as simple as this, like the whole point is to show that you can build an automator in Drupal super easily, super quickly that works.
Okay. So that was our demo. Now it's brainstorm time.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, can this work in Drupal 10 or only 11?
10.3 and up. Yeah. All right, group brainstorm. We just showed you something. What do you think you could build that would be cool? Using DrupalAI, knowing what you know at this point.
Spaceships to solve global warming. Something real.
Come on, you guys have to have some kind of ideas. Don't leave us hanging here. Lee.
We're currently being asked to do AI things, we're looking at it. So things we talk about were search API with the AI so you can run and talk to it more like ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
That needs a vector database setup, right?
Yep. And guess what?
We have a demo.
Well, I saw you had PG vector going, I was like,
Yeah.
that's better.
Yeah. So one of the things that you might want to play with is go to Drupal.org, look up the amazee.ai AI provider module, plop it into your installation. You'll get 30 days of credits for free just to mess around with that. And that gives you a vector database. It spins that up for you.
Yeah, part of our problem is the vector database can't be anywhere in the book.
It wouldn't be. It's all private.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
see how that's set up.
Yeah, it's what we've got set up is private. It gives you data sovereignty. It gives you regionalization, so you can choose what region you want to store the data in. But nothing touches any of the big providers' systems at all ever.
We also have limited logging, so we can't even really see what data you're putting in or be subpoenaed for our logs for your data.
Talking about stuff like that.
Yes.
They sure do.
That the ability to do imagery, you have a prompt where it's like generate, for stock images.
You sure can. The Drupal community hasn't yet gotten far enough with the modules yet to do a lot of that. I expect that we're going to get pretty close to that in the next couple of months. But absolutely, and if you want to jump into the issue queue and contribute to the AI image module, you certainly can.
Yeah, that seems like that'd be, a lot of clients just don't have.
Yep.
Good, they're just looking for stock imagery and you
Yeah.
generate what you want.
Yeah, I mean, you could even tell the model to look at such and such a paragraph and create an image out of that paragraph. There are all kinds of cool things that you could imagine you could do that way.
Yep.
It seems just like it'll be a lot of time saver versus making a post or a page and trying to extrapolate from that into some other AI system and then paste it back into Drupal. And
Right.
just as they're making it, maybe a blog post, these are my keywords I want to target, make an image, and it's just,
Make an image and give me my alt text.
yeah, right. Wouldn't want to be a content writer right now.
Yeah.
Well, here's the interesting thing. I write a lot of content, and what's happened for me is that using AI, I'll start with the main ideas that I want to write about, and I'll throw it into ChatGPT or I'll throw it into Claude or something like that, and ask it to help me out. But that only gets me probably 70 to 80% of the way there. After that, I spend a good chunk of time editing it and making sure that it's in my voice and making sure that that everything's accurate and so forth.
Sounds like AI slop.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You'll probably just look at these emails or look at this and write.
I've done that.
You
I
can do that now.
I actually already did that. So I really like the way my boss, Lauren, communicates. And so I copied a bunch of her emails, her posts to Slack, her announcements, and I fed it to my chatbot. And I said, hey, create for me a Lauren Morris style guide. And when I tell you to, I want you to apply the Lauren Morris style guide. So I'll make stuff and I'll be like, all right, now apply the Lauren Morris style guide. Because she's got this way of communicating. And it's great.
Yep. In fact, you can, if you play around with the CK editor module that's out there, the AI CK editor module, you can do things like ask it to change the text from whatever it is to sound like David Attenborough. And that's one of the presets they have in there to mess around with. And it is shockingly good. So there's definitely ways that you can train AI to do that kind of thing. But the thing is, it's still gonna, while it's good, it's still sloppy. I would never put something like that out as my own text without spending a good chunk of time editing it and so on. Yeah.
Yep.
But a separate CK editor that has an AI prompt built into it.
Yeah, well, it's a plugin for CK editor and it's already available. So one of the demos that we've got up on the amazee.ai website, if you like the demo that we just did here, is that CK editor module set up. There are we've got 6 of them up there at this point that you can mess around with. We're going to be building a bunch of others. The good thing about it is because it gives you admin access to the Drupal instance that it spins up, you can look at how everything's been built. You can look at the prompts, you can look at what models we've used, all of that. Copy it out if you want. It just makes it super simple to start working with it, playing with it, and learning about it.
Yeah, we've got a demo for the AI search. We've got enhanced search. It's using the Umami recipe site, and you can compare the actual search on Umami recipes and the AI search. It's way better. And then you can go into the backend and look at how we set everything up, how we configured it, the prompts we use. Hopefully to get you started real quick.
That was actually a hoot to build. And the cool thing about it is, like, if you go in and you say typed Italy into the Umami chatbot assistant, the chatbot will come back and say, "Do you want Italian recipes?" You say yes, and it brings you back all of the Italian recipes on the website. And there's a quiche in there, and if you say, "Hey, I'd like to know more about the quiche," it'll ask you a couple of questions. And including, do you want the recipe? Do you want a grocery list? Stuff like that. And if you say, yeah, I'd like the recipe. Can you give me the recipe here so I don't have to go to the page? And you read through it, and at one point it talks about blind baking. Now, nowhere else in the website does it talk about blind baking at all. So the site itself doesn't know what that is. But if you type into the assistant, hey, what's blind baking? It'll check through the website, then it'll go out to the large language model, and it'll find blind baking, bring back, give you an explanation, and then it'll prompt you saying, do you want me to put this into your recipe? And then it'll rewrite the recipe for you with the blind baking instructions in it. And then if you say, one of my favorite things to do when I'm doing this, I'll type in, I've got a can of Spam that's about to expire. Can I put Spam into this recipe?
Spam doesn't expire.
And it'll come back and it'll say sure, and give you the exact quantity of Spam that would be okay in the recipe, and then say, by the way, Spam is really salty. Do you want me to give you a new recipe with less salt? So with the decreased amount of salt, and then it prints out, and then it prints out the whole thing out for you again. And then if you go and say, I've got this lovely synthetic Valvoline motor oil, I would love to use it in this recipe. It'll come back with a just slightly snarky response saying that motor oil is not food, and it can't help you with that. It's toxic. It's not good for humans. But would you like me to find some edible oils for you?
So it doesn't prompt you to, you should drink all that right now.
It does, but
it's not homicidal right now.
It was super fun building that one out.
So, I was gonna ask you make it include anything external? So we actually have a client that is asking us for a similar search system, but it's just their database. It's like very specific energy.
Right.
So I'm assuming you could say like,
absolutely.
If you don't find it here, don't.
We're doing something like that, aren't we, Matthew?
Yeah, we're doing that with a vegetable and fruit company that I cannot disclose at this time. But they've got internal and external stuff, and they don't want when the assistant is used, they don't want it going out and getting content from other fruit and vegetable vendors, right? So you can put into your prompt literally things that you absolutely don't want it to ever go to, but you can also set these things up so you could build your own small large language model and be pointing at that rather than something like Claude or something like that.
So if you're using a system like Claude or AI, it will all by default go out if it has to.
Sure,
okay.
but you can tell it in the prompt.
You just say
don't do that.
It's also known to ignore things in the prompt, right?
It depends on how explicit you get. The reason that those things are in that prompt was specifically because I needed to keep asking and asking and asking until it stopped doing the things I didn't want it to do. So yes, but if you mess around with it enough, you will get to a point in the prompt where exclusions are being honored.
And you had to do all that extra prompt with context and all to get it to work just for the field.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah.
you'd think you could just say, take the data from this field and this field in one quick prompt, but I guess
You
it's.
can. It will get. You can try that.
So here's the thing, Claude doesn't really know what Drupal is, right? So it's not perceiving that data as being separate fields like you're talking about, right? So unless you explicitly tell it where you want it to go to, it'll just take everything, which can be amusing, but maybe not really that amusing.
Not as consistent.
Yeah.
We've got 3 minutes.
3 minutes. All right. We better get to, well, we have been doing questions, queries, and
I
comments.
switched us over because we were doing them anyway. So I was like, slide.
So any other questions, comments? Yes.
Sorry if you already covered this, but why should people use the amazee.ai solution instead of all of the other different DrupalAI solutions?
Well, the amazee.ai is just a provider module. All it's doing, it's not other Drupal modules. In fact, we're using those other Drupal modules to build these demos. So think of the amazee.ai provider module as being an alternative to using the OpenAI public data, where if you use that, whether they're saying we're not going to use your data to train these things or not, I can't say whether it's true or not true. But what I can say is that when you put something into OpenAI, it's being used in some way and it's being stored in a way that you don't control. We've taken the models, which many of them are available for you to host on your own. We've taken those models and we've put them into Bedrock, so they're entirely private. The only person that has or people that have access to that data are you and your organization. In addition, lots of different countries, not so much the US, but in Europe, you have to engage in regionalization as well. So your data has to be, if you're in Germany, your data has to be stored in Germany. You cannot store it legally outside of the country. So what the module does is it just provides you with all that infrastructure, really inexpensively. $30 a month to get all of that set up, and just as a sort of anecdote, before I started at Amazee, I was working on an AI project on my own. It's a tool to help organizations identify how neuro-inclusive they are, and then take that information that they provide in the questionnaire and put together a playbook for them to increase their neuro-inclusivity within their organization. Just getting the things I needed to start building set up took me 2 weeks. Using the provider module, it's 2.5 minutes. So I mean that's the reason you might want to use it, because it makes things super easy to set up for you to start playing with stuff, and it's cheap and it's private.
Hey, let's leave people with some resources.
Oh yeah, so there's lots of different places that you can go and learn more about this stuff. Drupal.org project, Artificial Intelligence Initiative. We're looking for companies that want to sponsor, but we're also looking for people who just want to help. There's documentation on the project pages, drupalcode.org, and the handy dandy aggregator on Drupal.org.
Drugcode.org.
What?
Drugcode.org. You got transcribed.
Oh.
It has a handy dandy aggregator of everything that's being put on Drupal.org for in terms of blog posts and stuff like that. There are 2 things in LinkedIn now. One is the company, which is #Drupal-AI, and there's also a group, if you'd prefer to be in a group. And then those 4 Slack channels are really, really, really active. And the initiative is constantly looking for people who are interested in participating, not just code, but for example, I'm part of the marketing initiative, and we're always looking for people who are interested in helping with that work. So if you want to get involved, please just reach out and we can get you doing stuff.
And QR codes. Would it be post-pandemic life if we weren't keeping QR codes alive? You can go to the trial that we did today with that first QR code. The second one takes you to the amazee.ai provider, where you can get unlimited tokens to play around for 30 days. If you're doing anything cool and you've got something like a demo environment or an AI provider environment that's about to expire, email us and be like, I'm doing something cool. And we'll talk about the cool stuff you're doing, and we'll see if there are ways that we can support that.
Yeah.
Maybe extend your demo, that kind of thing.
Extend the demo or the trial.
Mhm.
Particularly if you're doing things like trainings, you're helping folks learn about this stuff, or if you're working on Drupal modules that would be useful to the community. We're trying as much as possible to support the community work.
Yep, we're providing tokens for people who are contributing back to the DrupalAI initiative, that kind of thing. So, anyway, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.